Mary had a little lamb.
From the classiest radio station on the air, this is...
Welcome to the Black Rabbit's Curse, where every shadow hides a sinister verse. Hear the airs thick with dread and tales of terror twist in your head into the dark unknown, where fear takes root and chills the bone. Beware, dear traveler, for once you're here, the curse may linger year after year. Whispering shadows. The bus wheezed to a stop, its brakes squealing like a wounded animal. Jane stepped out, squinting against the late afternoon sun as it cast long shadows over a quaint little town. Ravenwood, the sign read, carved into wood with the kind of rustic charm small towns pride themselves on. It was the sort of place travel blogs called a hidden gem and city folks called quaint. She pulled her suitcase along the uneven cobblestone road, her eyes sweeping over the scene. Rows of pastel-colored houses lined the street, their windows framed with flower boxes bursting with cheerful blooms. A few locals miled about, offering polite nods and smiles that felt a touch too rehearsed. "First time in Ravenwood?" An old man asked, tipping his white brim hat as she passed. "Yeah," Jane replied, flashing a polite smile. "Just visiting." The man chuckled and low raspy. "Not many visitors these days. Hope you enjoy your stay." There was something strange in his tone, but before Jane could respond, he turned and shuffled away, disappearing down a narrow alley. The air smelled faintly sweet, like honey, but there was something else beneath it, a metallic tang that made Jane's stomach churn. She brushed it off as travel fatigue, continued walking. Her destination in sight, her friend Claire's house. Claire had raved about Ravenwood for months. "You'll love it here," she said. "The perfect escape from city life." But now, standing in the middle of the eerily quiet street, Jane couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. A woman emerged from the shop across the street carrying a basket of apples. She looked up, waved, her smile impossibly wide. Jane waved back, but couldn't help noticing how stiff the woman's movements were, as if her limbs were being pulled by invisible strings. As Jane reached Claire's house, a charming little cottage with ivy crawling up its stone walls, she paused. For the first time in years, a strange feeling prickled at the back of her neck. It wasn't the coziness she had expected. It was something darker. Jane settled into Claire's guest room, a quaint little space with lace curtains, a creaky wooden bed. The room smelled faintly of lavender, but the air felt thick, almost stifling. After unpacking, she joined Claire in the kitchen, where the warm scent of baked bread filled the space. "How was the trip?" Claire asked, setting the steamy hot teapot on the table. Her smile was bright, but her eyes seemed to dart towards the window too often, as if expecting someone or something. Uneventful, Jane replied. But this town is quiet. Almost too quiet. Claire laughed a little too quickly. You'll get used to it. Big city life makes everything seem louder as she chatted. Jane couldn't ignore the odd pauses in Claire's conversation. It was as if she was carefully choosing every word when Jane mentioned the overly polite townfolk. Claire's smile fluttered for a second before she brushed it off with the wave of her hand. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jane stepped outside for fresh air. The cobblestone streets were bathed in a soft, eerie glow from the street lamps. She noticed a group of townfolk standing at the edge of the square, their faces turned towards the woods. Curiosity got the better of her, and she approached. What's going on? She asked a man standing at the edge of the group. He didn't answer. He didn't even blink, but his face was unravelingly blank. Eyes unseen, the others stood just as still, like mannequins frozen in time. Hello? Jane's voice waved as she waved a hand in front of the man's face. Nothing. She stumbled back, her heart pounding as she hurried to Claire's house. Claire, there was something surprisingly wrong with this town, she said, bursting through the door. Claire looked up from her book, her expression calm, almost unnaturally so. What do you mean? Jane hesitated. The group by the square, their stillness, the empty stairs. It sounded insane. You know what, never mind, she mumbled. That night, Jane lay in the bed, staring at the ceiling. The quiet was oppressive, broken only by a faint creak of the old house that she heard it, a soft tapping like fingernails drumming on glass. As she sat up, her pulse quickening, the sound came from the window. Slowly, she turned her head and her face stared back at her, pale and slack, with hollow eyes that seemed to glow faintly in the dark. It was the same man from the square. Jane screamed, scrambling out of her bed, but by the time she looked back, the window was empty. The night outside, eerily still. So come back for part 2. Sit here, heart still racing, eyes wide open. Remember, the terror doesn't end when the video does. You may try to forget, but the shadows have a way of following. The whispers grow louder each night, don't they? So go ahead, close your eyes, if you dare. But know this, you're not alone. Not anymore. But the Black Rabbit's curse has seen you, and it's waiting. So what happens when the lights go out? If you want to find out, make sure you come back. But next time, will you be ready? Sleep well. Or don't.